everybody? Hey, hanging with Mark and Dougie again, man. It's been 2 weeks already. Time's flying, and God, has there been a lot of things happening, man. A lot of
Yeah.
things happening. Tons of things. And you know what? I just got approved for a loan to get some gas. I got a loan just so
Yeah.
I can get my tank up, man, because gas is going to be ridiculous. I mean, remember the good old days when we had a man named Donald Trump when gas was under $2 and life was good? No more. Hey, listen, you didn't like the mean tweet. Now you're paying $6 a gallon. That's your fault. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
can't have what you want. You should have voted right. If you would have voted right, you wouldn't have had this problem. So stop complaining. Fill up the gas and don't complain because it's all your problem, not mine. I voted for Trump.
There's a lot of people that are saying basically, hey, you know what? So what? We got to pay a little extra money on this and that, that would be fine if in fact we know this is going to be like a few months and then it'll turn. The question is, will it turn? And
No.
that's why. And I find it amazing that all these people that are trying to defend this Muppet on social media, it's like I had a guy come out, a guy who's a comic, start questioning my knowledge on commodities and how they fucking work. And I want to tell these people, like, look, if the internet goes out and your intelligence is gone, don't get into a discussion with me about this kind of stuff. One person said, "Oh, the president doesn't have a say in how much the oil prices are." Brr, 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 brr. I go, yeah, well, so I said some other guy says, well, why don't you be more specific on what he did? I said, I'll tell you what, why don't you tell me if we're actually pumping more oil today than we did 2 years ago?
Well, the reason why we're dependent on other countries with Biden, when Trump was in office, we were independent. We were able to do things on our own. Now with this Muppet, we're not independent, and that's part of the problem. He didn't want to drill. He didn't want to do anything.
The stats they want to say is how we have 9,000 oil companies have 9,000 leases on properties to drill. That's and oil companies always have that log of leases that they get, but then they got to research and see if there's oil under there. They got to see if it's even worth the money to do. And the other problem is that with all these restrictions and government, bureaucracy that Biden put back in place, that it costs way too much money now to do it. So,
yeah.
People need to understand that before Trump took office, this country was like, I think we were pumping 8 billion gallons. I can't forget the number. It's like 8 billion cans of oil or whatever of oil. Now we went up to almost 13 billion of our own production. And then now we're about 10 and a half. So, that is a 30% decrease. Right. And that's kind of what we're looking at,
Yeah.
And just accept it. And you know what? Here's the thing. I don't care if listen, God bless. He's the president of this country. I'm not going to be a schmuck and go, oh, he's not my president. He's the president. And you know what? Let's give him a little bit of kudos. He brought NATO together a little bit for this thing with Ukraine and Russia. There was some unity there.
Credit? I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm going to give a little credit in the fact that we have unity within NATO. Maybe I don't know if it's because of Biden or because they're all scared of Russia, but
it's all it's not because of Biden. It's because of what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. Don't give Biden credit for this.
Yeah,
come on.
But so aside from that, that's it. We wouldn't be in this problem if he had not done everything he did with his executive orders and all this other shit. We would have been like, hey, we could easily try to pump and help out Europe.
And no matter how you look at it, listen, I love how people say, well, it probably could have happened under Trump's watch as far as the Ukraine, but it didn't. That's the funny thing about it, but it didn't happen. It could happen. You know why it didn't happen? Because there's fear. There's fear of what he might do because he's a strong person, okay? This guy's a Muppet. Everybody knows he's a Muppet. And that it didn't happen. It happened on Obama's watch. It happened on Trump's watch, but it didn't happen on Biden's watch, but it didn't happen on Trump's watch. So there's a reason why it didn't happen. It wasn't a coincidence. There's a reason why. He's a strong figure. And let me tell you something. I don't care who anybody says. You have to know that you made a mistake if you voted for Biden. You have to at least. I don't care how hardcore left you are. You have to see that you made a mistake. It's like, if you dated a girl and she slept around 100 times after you dated her, you got to see the mistake no matter how much you love her. It's the same thing here, man.
Yeah, and you'll probably see the mistake of that when you look down and you see those warts on your penis, and you'll be like, "Yeah, I should have stayed away from her."
She was trouble.
Yeah, she was trouble. And you know what? Even people admit it. That even Putin said that he didn't know what Trump would do, so that's why he never. I mean, you know what I mean? He didn't bother, but we know what Biden will or will not do. So. It was interesting. I'm stressed as crazy because this market's been back and forth. The stock market today was the was up. Or it was nice because after a big day, we 700-point drop on Monday. On Tuesday, we saw the market up midday around 500-600 points. I'm like, oh, thank God, some normalcy now. All of a sudden, then it went back again. So it's just nuts, man. We need some normalcy again. I mean, COVID's ready to walk out the door, and World War III walks in the other one.
So what you need to do when you get home, you just have a nice glass of vodka, man. When you get home, just do a nice shot, and your troubles will go away, man. As long as it ain't Russian vodka. We don't want to do the Russian vodka. You know?
Well, yeah, that's funny. A lot of people. Go ahead. No, I was going to say, a lot of people say we're going to ditch this vodka. We're going to throw this vodka out. We're not going to, and they're throwing out like Finlandian vodka and Swedish vodka, and it's like it's not even Russian vodka. Stupid.
Yeah. I'm leaving my vodka alone. You know what? My vodka didn't do anything to me. I'm not going to pour down. I'm only hurting myself if I already bought it. Now I won't buy new Russian vodka, but if it's sitting in my cabinet, there's no sense for me to throw it away, man, because I already own it. It's already been paid for. So, I'm going to drink it.
Hey, Russia doesn't export weed, do they? I don't have to throw out any of my weed. Do I have to throw out my weed? Is there any Russian weed?
Yeah. But, yeah, and talking about, stupid things and stupid people. How about this? I mean, you got to know better. How about this WNBA player that brought the hashish? I guess it was for the vapor pen. I guess you put in the van. And I guess in the United States, it wouldn't have been such a bad deal because, she's not that she's famous. She's a WNBA player. She's nobody. She's not famous. She's like a shoe salesman. She's nobody. But what I'm saying is, I mean, she's a WNBA. Who sees a WNBA? What's their attendance? 9 people? I mean, what do they get in a WNBA game? Seriously.
There's more people in an elevator.
Exactly. So everybody said she was a celebrity. She wasn't a celebrity. She was a WNBA player. She wasn't a celebrity. Yeah. But she thought she was. And she thought, and I don't get this. This is the point. Has anybody watched the show Locked Up Abroad? I mean, these people do serious time for little amounts of, and right now, is Russia the place that you want to have anything? I would be checking my suit. First of all, I wouldn't go to Russia. But if I had to go it was a reason I had to go, I would check my suitcase 1,000 times before I got on. I'd make sure nobody put anything on my suit. I mean, that's the last place you want to have a headache. That's the last place you want to have a headache. We can't get you out. We can't get you out, And I don't want to get her out. I don't want to get her out because you know what? She knew the rules, man. What's wrong with people, man? And now they're going to say, oh, no, you knew you couldn't bring it on the plane. You knew you couldn't do it. Now you got to pay the consequences. They might be harsh, but you shouldn't have done it. Oh,
I don't know. I don't wish that on anybody, especially a fellow pothead. But you know what? You're right. I mean, listen, I get cautious if I want to take something on the plane with me. I don't want to have too much to lose. It's not worth it. You know what I mean? And
this is also Russia. This is Russia. It's not taking. You're not going to Denver, Colorado. You're going to another country that is a communist country that hates Americans. I mean, that's the last place you should bring anything at all.
Yeah. The last time I checked, Denver, Colorado didn't have a gulag.
Exactly.
A fucking Russian prison to stick you in for bringing a vape pen.
Oh, yeah. And the funny thing is, this is the irony of it all. This is the same lady that that's nailed for the national anthem. I bet she stands for the national anthem when she gets out in 10 years. She's going to love the national anthem. She's going to have a hand on her toe. She's going to be saluting and, she's going to love the United States.
Is that right? So she's somebody who's badmouthed this country and how we are, and now she's stuck in a prison in Russia?
He was one of the ones that was bad-mouthing the United States. Yes. So
that might end up
karma,
changing.
man. There's a thing called karma. Oh, believe me, when she gets out, she's gonna love the U.S. because they ain't nothing like it, baby. They ain't nothing like you think you had depression. Wait till you get in that jails. Those jails they're no fun. I've watched Lock Up Abroad enough times where I know they're no fun, zero fun. So we'll see.
Absolutely.
10 years is like 40 years when you're there. I mean, who knows if she'll get 10 years, but they might because listen. You're talking about Russia right now, and they might want to just set an example because they can.
Wasn't it a few years ago that Chinese? I think it was during one of the last Olympics or something. There was some basketball players that got arrested in China because they were like,
Trump got
what are they?
The balls.
They were.
Shoplifting.
Yeah, that's right. They're shoplifting.
Yeah, and the funny thing about that's funny you said that was the balls, LaMelo and the other ball, whatever his name was, and the VAR ball, LaMelo, whatever it was. Trump got them out. And they badmouth Trump. Trump got him out. He's like, big deal. I'm like, fuck. He got him out of a Chinese prison, and they came back and they badmouthed Trump, the father, everybody. I'm like, Trump's like, I wish I would have left him in there. You should have left him in there. But now, you know what? I feel bad and I don't feel bad because The problem is, you know the rules, man. Listen, if you can't do something, whether how stupid the rule is, you can't do it. That's their rules. Why take a chance? You know, do you have to smoke a sheesh or whatever she had in that pipe that bad for the couple days that you're in Russia to take that chance? That's a big chance to take.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I could tell you,
I
there's been plenty of times I left it out and said it ain't worth the risk. You
yeah,
know,
no, it's stupid.
I'd hate to be
Getting
sitting there like a TSA agent pulling out like a bunch of pre-rolls, and next thing you know, I go in a room and then I get a call and I've lost my license to trade investments and all kinds of stuff, all because I wanted to puff a little bit. Not worth it, man.
And it's kind of a scary feeling when you get pulled. I got pulled out of line one time because I had too much cash. I had too much money. I was going to a trip, and I guess you can only carry so much money on a domestic flight. And they actually, and then so it was pissed me off is they had the money showing. It was in my bag, and they seen the money. And they all high fiving each other like they got a drug lord, like they got Pablo Escobar, you know. And I'm like, it's just cash, man. That's all it is. Well, how do we know you're not a terrorist? I'm like, fucking kind of bomb am I going to buy with this money right here? You know, it's not that much money,
Yeah.
you know, and they're put me in the room and they're asking me why I have it. I'm like, really? Why do you care why I have money? You know, but I found out there was a rule and now I know about it. They can only carry so much cash without, you know, contacting the airlines. And now I know, and now I won't do it. But you know, it is a little bit of a scary fact because you don't know if they're going to. I know I wasn't going to go to jail, but I didn't want them taking my money either. You know, so it's like you don't know what they can. You know, who knows what they can do anymore.
They can't confiscate your money unless they prove it's come from ill-fated sources.
Well, here's where you would think that, but I'm not going to mention names. But I know of somebody that had a large amounts of money driving, and he got pulled over, large amounts, and they said, and all bills have cocaine residue on it. They all do because everybody uses dollar bills and $100 bills. They said there was cocaine residue on the bills. They didn't arrest him, but they confiscated his money, and it was a lot of money. Yep. True story. So, and he fought like hell, and I don't know what happened with it, but he fought like hell to get it back. But, you know, you'd be amazed what they can do, you know, or they could just say he resisted arrest and shoot you and take the money, you know. Who knows, you know, who knows what things can be done. But getting back to one of my favorite athletes, you know, Tim Tebow just set a record, man. He's not a real big guy, Tim Tebow. I mean, he's probably like, I don't know, 210, 220. It's not like he's huge. You know, he just set a record at 34 years old, bench pressed 31 times, 2.25. And I don't think anybody realizes how fatigued that is, man. Even when I was bench pressing a lot and I was pretty strong back in the day, maybe I can get up 15. And I was, you know, 235. You're talking about double. I mean, he was one away from the NFL record, who I think was like Eric Williams, who weighs like 350. He was one rep away from tying his record. He doubled the quarterback record of Brady Quinn. Doubled. Brady Quinn was a big guy too. He doubled the record of the quarterback record for reps, and he's out of football 10 years or 8 years.
You know, I have a pretty impressive record. I do 365 sit-ups a year.
One a day. There's nothing wrong with that.
You got to get out of bed, you know.
No matter how you look at it, it's 365. You don't got to say it's you did 365 last year. That's not bad. You know?
Yeah. Exactly.
Hey, what you should do is trying to get to 700 this year. Just push yourself. You know?
God. What are you slave driver, you fucking beast?
But that's when you think about it, for his weight, that's amazing that, you know, here he is. He's not an active football player. You know, he's not a real big guy, and he's one rep away from the NFL record. And there's guys in the NFL that are like 350, 360. They're really
he's
strong.
Jacked
people,
though, and that video, he's pretty big, man. He looks pretty. I mean, he looks bigger than I've ever seen him.
He's a lean big guy. He's not like bulky. He's got nice size, but he's not like bulky big, like steroid big. He's lean big. Like he's probably, I would guess, if I had to guess, he's probably right around 215. I wouldn't say he's too much more than that, which is probably half the weight of some of the linemen in the NFL. So you think what he's pushing is pretty impressive, you know?
Yeah. I started working out again because I hadn't worked out in so long because of injuries and everything. And I'm trying to get back into the workout stuff. So I'm doing like reps of 20. You know, so it's funny because I used to put 225 in there and do it a few times. You know, but I barely can put the 45s on now and do a few of them. It's just crazy.
Yeah, you gotta start slow, man. You know, yeah, you gotta just start slow and it'll build up, man. Muscle remembers. You know, I gotta get back to the gym, man. It's been a while. You know, I gotta get there too. And I was pretty strong a couple of years ago. You know, even until I was almost 50 years old, I was bench pressing quite a bit. And then I just, you know, COVID hit, and I just Didn't want to go to the gyms with all the germs and everything, but now
Yeah.
fuck it. I got to go, man. I got to push myself, you know.
So you're saying muscle is like Pepperidge Farm. It remembers.
It remembers, man. No matter what, hey, somewhere behind all that, there's a six-pack waiting to come out, Dougie. It's going to
Oh,
come out. Just wait to come out, man. But I've seen some videos, man, of people, the miraculous weight people lose just by starting, man. Like, you know, the guy that works for me, Donnie, he's lost 160 pounds. Donnie lost 160.
damn.
Just, yeah, Donnie was over 300 pounds. He was well over 300, and he lost it in like a year. And, you know, it's amazing. Your body, if you really push yourself, you can do it, man. You know, you just got to start. You got to start somewhere, you know. That's the hardest part is starting, you know. Once you start, you can do it. It can be done.
Yeah,
You know,
because
people
once you
do it
get
all the
started, like I got in a rhythm of trying to go 3 days a week now at least. So then once you get into a rhythm and you start feeling better, like all my back problems, I had a hard time walking, you know, like up the stairs and stuff at like the comedy club here. There's a now I jog up the stairs. You know, before I would like hold the rail, my back hurt. Now my legs gotten to the point I just jog up the stairs. So
But you
and
don't
then
tell everybody hey, Doug, hold on a second, Doug. You got to be fair with the audience. You don't tell everybody you only have 3 stairs. You only have 3 steps. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
it's
well.
not exactly Rocky. You're not exactly Rocky, bro, where you're going to the top of the bell. So
Well, it's up. There's 3 flights there. It's actually it's a bit of a, you know, you got to go up, 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 and it's one of those things where you don't just walk straight. You got to walk, turn, go up, walk, turn, go up, and every time I'm like, God dang it, there's another one.
So what you got to
So
do is you got to put a little something up there, like a steak up there, something to give you a little motivation.
yeah,
Something like a
little
cup.
Philly
You know,
cheesesteak.
this way you just run up there, you eat it, and then you run down. You know,
Yeah,
it all works
yeah,
out at the end. All right, so
yeah.
we'll go on to the next. We're moving pretty quick today. We're gonna try and do the half an hour show that we always say we're gonna do. But DeSantis, man, he went to USF. I love it, man. Show the video. Do you got the video on DeSantis?
You do not have to wear those masks. I mean, please think about it. Honestly, it's not doing anything. We got to stop it. The governor just got in. So if you want to wear it, it's fine, but this is ridiculous.
Some people said I'm not going to listen to DeSantis. My parents are going to kill me.
We've been able to.
Yeah, that was funny. He
Yeah, I love.
he's at USF, right? And he walks up. He's like, "You don't have to wear those masks. Take the masks off. I mean, you wear them if you want to, but you know." And one of the kids like, "All right." The other kids are like, "No, I'm gonna keep it on."
Yeah, it's funny. They're so busy doing Jello shots and drinking alcohol poisoning
Yeah.
every day, and they're wearing that stupid little mask. You know that's going to protect them. And DeSantis called him out, and you know what? I love him for it. And I know the View had a couple things to say, like, "Who is DeSantis to bully these kids?"
Yeah.
All he said is, "You don't have to wear the mask. You take it off. You don't have to wear it." And you know what? I love him for it because he says it like it is, brother. And that's what. Hey, listen, he made it where we didn't have to, and that's what I love him for. Choice, man, choice.
Well, and everybody else is following. I mean, look, I mean, in New York now, it's not supposedly restaurants and stuff. You don't have to wear it inside anymore. There's no more mandates. You know what I mean? And yeah, look what the Democratic Party's waking up to.
Yeah, but it's funny because now you hear the Democrats all of a sudden. 2 weeks ago, you had to wear the mask. You had to get double boosters, triple boosters. You were going to die the minute you took your mask off. The second you take your mask off, you melt, right? Now, all of a sudden, because, you know, he sees all the shit that's going down and that you know, everybody's going against him. Now we don't need masks anymore. Everybody take your mask off. A week ago, we needed them. This week, we don't need them, you know, and now we need the police. All of a sudden, we need the police. Now, the police are very important to the Democratic Party right now, you know, because everybody sees what's going on. And you know what? They have to halt and figure out, you know, everything what's going on so they don't lose more votes that they already have lost, you know. So it's kind of funny, you know, that they're backpedaling so much, you know.
Yeah. Did you watch his what was it? Was his address, State of the Nation, State of the Union address? Yeah.
Well, listen, one thing I learned that we have to help out Ukraine. Ukraine's very important to help out. Not Ukraine, Ukraine.
Yeah,
you know?
Ukraine.
He didn't say it once. He said it twice. You know, somebody should have smacked him in the head after the first time he said it. You know, and you should have seen Kamal's face behind like this. Like, you know,
oh my God, and how ridiculous were those two crash test dummies behind him the whole time? You know, she looked like she looked like a fly. You know, when a fly rubs its. She's like this. Who the fuck does this? What is this? What? Nancy Pelosi, tell me, what the fuck does this mean?
You know what it is? They're so desperate right now. There's it's so bad right now, Democrat. Everybody sees it. We don't even
Yeah.
have to talk about it anymore because everybody sees it. You know, it's funny because I have some really liberal friends. Not that they're my friends, but they're acquaintances that I knew from high school, whatever. And even they can't defend what's going on. They can't. I'm like, do me a favor, just defend one. They can't. No one can say anything. And you know,
Yeah.
and I asked this one guy. I said, "Are you happy that you voted for Biden?" He goes, "Well, I didn't want Trump." I said, "No, I didn't ask that question. I asked the, are you happy you voted for Biden?" He goes, "Well, not exactly." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." So, I mean, you know, at least admit it. You know, if you admit it, I'll give you a little bit of credit. If you admit you fucked up, just admit it. People fuck up. You just
Yeah.
don't make the same mistake twice, please. Don't. You know.
Absolutely.
But I loved it that DeSantis called those kids out, and they were like, they didn't know what to say. And then The View obviously had to, make it way worse than what it was. You know, they bullied those kids,
Yeah.
and that's why kids commit suicide because they're bullied. Yeah, DeSantis
Yeah.
told you
Oh,
not to wear a
God.
mask. Listen, you kill yourself because DeSantis says you don't need to wear a mask. You're a pretty weak individual to start with.
Yeah. You
You
deserve
know?
to be off this earth. Let's
Yeah,
thin that
exactly,
herd. You know what?
exactly.
Did you see that? Did you see that beast Joy Behar fell the other day? They were getting ready. They were walking on the set, and she fell down. Everybody ran to her like she was like, oh, karma.
How old do you
What?
think Joy Behar is? You'll be
I don't know.
surprised. I mean, if you had
I
to
would guess
guess,
she's in her late 60s, early 70s at this point.
79. I
Wow.
gotta give her credit for she doesn't look 79. I was surprised, because I thought she was like maybe 70, but I guess it's all that plastic surgery. But yeah, she doesn't look 79. But I laughed my ass off when she fell. I mean, Whoopi's like 10 years younger. Whoopi looks 79, but it's
Yeah.
funny because but they get so much plastic surgery you can never tell anyway. But
Whoopi
she
looks
fell on her
79
ass.
tons.
Oh, she is. She's disgusting. But it's so funny. But they were the View was all on DeSantis. They were ragging on him and everything. And I'm thinking, is that the best you got? Is that he bullied kids? You can't say anything about his policy, so you can say that he bullied a kid. It's like they have nothing. They have nothing anymore. The
Yeah.
show has nothing. And it's getting worse because they really have nothing anymore because the Democrats completely shit the bed. I mean, completely over 1 year. I mean, it's not like Biden did this over 4 years. He's done this over 11 months, whatever it is, a year and 2 months, whatever it is, the January, yeah, whatever it is. So it's insane that, that you could do so much damage in such a short period of time, it's hard to do. You got to give him credit. That's what you got to give him credit for. That's very
They
hard to
keep,
do.
yeah. They
Very hard
keep
to
they
fuck
keep
up
sh-
that
they
bad.
keep showing like videos of when Trump said, are you guys enjoying the $2 gas? Well, if Biden gets elected, it's going to be $5, $6, $7, and here we are,
Yeah, yeah,
$7 in California if you want
yeah.
to fill up your tank.
Yeah, and even here in Florida, it's $4. I mean, when Trump
Yeah.
left office, I believe I took a picture of it actually, and I think it was under two. I think it was like $1.87, $1.88.
Yeah, it felt like the early 70s, like, you know what I mean, before the gas issues. I mean, I started getting nervous, because it's not only that, it's food, right? It's food cost too and
Oh,
everything. And the only thing that's good now is that we don't use as much petroleum for a lot of other production stuff we do, so it won't affect as many prices with the price of the gas. But listen, the bottom line is we all got to deal with it, because now we're in a
yeah,
war in a sense, good versus evil, and everybody's going to have to like spend it. And the thing is, you got to watch for those. Like, okay, so what are we going to do? Like the wife and I are saying, all right, so we can't go out to dinner 2 days a week, 3 days a week. We can only go out one now. So
yeah,
that affects the economy and everything. So, you know,
yeah.
it's just
Yeah, but it's
it
funny
was
because go ahead, I'm sorry, Doug.
no, I
You
was
were
just
saying,
saying that. No, I was just saying it's just weird. We watch, and there's people talking about. There was a liberal person on Facebook that said that Ukraine and Zelensky should just like let Russia come in and take everything. Why deal with all this? I'm like, what the fuck?
that's a
All
stupid
right,
thing to
so
run.
so
Yeah, so somebody take your house over. Yeah, yeah, come on. I don't want to deal with on
yeah,
the floor fighting for just take my house over. That's the stupid.
yeah,
And that's the thing I got to give the Ukraine people. They're very brave people. Zelensky's a beast, man. He's a beast. I mean, I love what he said. Poland, I believe, said, "Listen, we can get you out of there. We'll put you in a safe place." He goes, "I don't want a plane ticket. I want guns. Give me guns.
yeah.
Give me weapons." Because I don't want a plane ticket. That's a true leader, man. That's I can't imagine our leader doing that. So
No,
the Zelensky's a tough dude, and a lot of the ex fighters, Klitschko, whatever those guys' names are, Klitschko, I think they're
Klitschko.
fighting. They're not leaving. Yeah, Klitschko. They're fighting. They're not leaving. A lot of these people are standing their ground.
Even
Hey,
miss,
listen.
even Miss Ukraine, the beauty pageant lady's out there with the machine gun on her shoulder.
Yeah, yeah.
Boy,
So,
I'd like to share a gun, bunker with her.
but like I said, these are braves. These are brave people, man, and they're true soldiers, you know, and they're doing the best they can. They really are. They're doing it. You know, they're holding off pretty good, but this is going to be a long journey. It's going to be a long journey. They need help. They do need help, you know. But you know,
Yeah,
we
I
are
mean,
doing certain. We're sending guns and sending weapons and planes. They're getting planes now, so we'll see what happens, man. You
yeah, I guess
know, we-
Poland released all their MiG fighters, and they left them. They put them in the Ramsur Air Force Base in Poland or in Germany. Now they're sending them there to hand over. And the question is that people worry about, is this going to be considered a war? Like we don't want to do a no fly zone because that could be an issue. But
yeah,
just keep giving them. Ukraine's going to go into that guerrilla warfare. And Russia is losing a lot more troops than they thought. The
yeah.
bottom line is that at this point, Russia is done. You
They made a decision, the wrong decision. Yeah.
Putin's done. I mean, regardless of whatever happens here now, he's done. The country's done.
His own
You know,
people are rebelling against him. His own people are rebelling. There's a 15-year penalty in prison for protesting, and they had like 6,000 protesters. So people really don't want this war, and a lot of the
and where are
soldiers
they putting all those people? Where are they putting those people? They don't have the jails to put that many people. You know what I mean? Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
So it's nuts.
We'll see what happens. The world's watching, and then we need strong leadership right now. But I'm hoping, as much as I can't stand Biden as a person, I'm hoping he mans up and they figure this out because we need strong leadership. We don't have it, but hopefully we get a little stronger. We'll see what happens with that. We'll see what happens. Guy, yep, prayer, big prayer, man. Going to
Big one.
another story, we're moving pretty good. Horace Mann Middle School staff, I guess, got in trouble for pinning down an innocent kid. This kid was innocent.
Yeah.
He was on an alternative school, and because you go to alternative schools for getting C's and B's. That's what happens. It wasn't for beating up other teachers and selling drugs in school. Alternative schools are for bad kids. You got to be. I was an average kid, and I wasn't even close to being alternative school. I was probably a little below average. But these are problem kids, and let me tell you something. They talk about this. Kids are beating up teachers every day. They're physical with teachers. I like this. I like to see where a kid gets pinned down and taught, what's right and what's wrong. I think that's what we need more of, We got paddled when we were in school. I got a paddle in the ass.
Yeah.
I got a paddle for being 5 minutes late. I was 5 minutes late to a class. I got paddled. Hey, listen, a little pin down. I got no problem with it.
Yeah,
We
we'll
have the
show the
footage
video
on
in a, we'll show it in a second. But the thing was, the funny thing about the news and how they report, it's like an unmanned, police shot an unarmed black man. Oh, by the way, he was raping or killing somebody at the time. They don't tell you that or whatever it
was
is. They
unarmed.
like to leave. Yeah, but he was unarmed. Something like this. They didn't say that this school. They said middle school. Oh, it's a poor little kid. You're right. It's an alternative school where the only this is the last step before they get expelled and they're done.
Forever.
They're basically
Forever.
they're released into society as criminals. And in this story, the auntie, the one who's taking care of him, said like, look, he should have listened because they asked him to take his hoodie off. He can't wear his hoodie, and he didn't listen. And then all of a sudden it goes from that to being held to the ground, and people just assume that the kid didn't say anything or do anything.
That's impossible.
To deserve
That's
this.
impossible. That's that.
Yeah,
That doesn't
they
happen.
want you to think. They want you to think that the kid said, "No, I'm not taking my video off." I mean, what? I mean, it's not like they're. I mean, watch this. Just okay. So they got their knee on him. He's not. Oh, that's when the mother was talking. That's the kid talking there. You don't hear. But
Hey,
I mean, it's not
thank
like.
God,
I mean, look at him.
Doug, thank God it was an African American holding him down, because if that was a white man holding him down, forget about it. That guy owned the school. He would own the school system. So
I mean,
thank God
listen, they're standing over the kid. They're trying to. He's resisting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're trying to, and so fuck it. These are teenagers. These aren't kids that are like little feeble. This kid,
dangerous. Some of these kids are dangerous, man. Some of these kids have records. Time they're 16 years old, they have records for robbery, armed robbery, all kinds of shit. Listen, kids are dangerous, man. Kids ain't like what they used to be. They don't respect teachers. They don't respect anything, authority at all. So I'm sure it got to a point where they had to take him down. I'm sure of it. You don't just grab the kid and throw him to the ground. You can see he's resisting already. At that point, he should have said, okay, I'm cool. Okay, let me put my hands up. You know, at that point, I kind of wish there was a couple more knees, to be honest with you, maybe a couple elbows. It wasn't
Well,
enough
I don't know
elbows.
about that. I won't. But you know what? There's a reason why they had to restrain him like that, right? For his own protection, because he starts throwing punches, he starts doing that. Somebody's got to protect themselves, and then it's somebody. You know, if somebody's throwing punches at you, you either have to restrain them with like a choke, or a hold, or a arm bar, or all your weight on them. You know what I mean? Because if they strike and then you got to strike them back, next thing you know, you knock their fucking head off, and then everybody's pissed. We skipped the one story because some people say, how could teachers or administrators treat people like this? Well, we had the story: a Florida teacher was beaten and hospitalized after attack by a 5-year-old, a fucking 5-year-old.
This woman was beat up by a 5-year-old.
This woman was beat. This Florida school teacher was beaten by a 5-year-old. The kid rests like she.
This
She
kid, Bruce Lee's grandson. Who is this kid at 5 years old? What? Wait, what 5-year-old? I've seen 5-year-olds before. What was he? Fucking Mighty Mouse? Was he eating? Was he taking steroids? What 5-year-old kid? No, seriously. Oh, we got to talk about this a little bit more. Hold on. You said 5.
Yes.
60 months old. 60 months old.
Yes. As long as a car payment.
Okay, listen, this woman deserves to get her ass kicked. I don't even care what this kid did. Because if a 5-year-old kicked your ass, you deserve it. What the fuck did he do? What can a 5-year-old do to you?
The kid jumped on her and knocked her back, and she fell back, hit her head, and all that shit. And she had a concussion, and she was all fucked up. So, you know, the point is that stop talking about these kids as if they're all gems, and you know, the poor little kid. Look, some fucking kids are evil as fuck. I mean, and not to mention, some kids aren't even that bad. Their parents are so fucking bad that they're so like, you know, they're just so privileged, and they think they can just do anything, and they'll talk any way they want. Yeah. They fucking, you know. It's bottom line. Kids have no respect. And whether the teacher puts the knee on the shoulder of the kid, or the kid's going to get shot, or the kid's going to get fucking stabbed by somebody when he gets older, this shit's going to happen. You know,
Doug, it's funny you say that because kids really have no respect at all. I've never seen anything like it. Like when I was a kid, we all had respect, dude. You had to have respect because you get your ass kicked. There wasn't. I wish my dad was like, call the cops, please call the cops. You know, because the cops would agree with him. The cops would probably smack you around when they come on the call, because kids today have no respect at all, man. Like I see how they talk to their parents. It wouldn't exist when I was a kid. You couldn't even think about saying that to my mom and dad. I remember one time I said something to my mom out of anger, and you know, my dad was in the other room, and I didn't even know he was home. It was like one of those old Western movies with Clint Eastwood, you know. And my mom just kept on like, blah, 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 just yelling in my ear, you know. And I just leave me the fuck alone. That was it, you know. And it was like Clint Eastwood, the chair turned around, the chair turned around, and you know what? I got a much needed ass kicking, you know, because you don't talk to your parents like that. You don't. They brought you into this world. They could take you out. I heard that many a times, you know.
Right.
So, but that's the problem, man. And like you said before, Doug, sorry to interrupt you, but where is the 5 minutes leading into where he got in the ground? Where's those 5 minutes of that video where he was probably saying "fuck you, asshole," and maybe he was throwing punches? We always see the one part, the 30 seconds that everybody wants to see.
Yeah.
But I like to see the 5 minutes before and the 5 minutes after. I like to see the whole thing. You know.
Now that the kid is restrained, right? And like it's just common sense that if there's that many people standing around, because there's another guy standing there trying to help, there's a reason why there's 2 administrators there, right? Because the kid's deemed dangerous. All these kids in the school are deemed, you know, very fucking volatile and dangerous. And, you know, and like you said, you're right. Who the fuck knows? And we're going to hear, and what do you think the parents are going to say? The auntie says, oh, he should have never been treated like, fuck, listen, this is bullshit. The kid. I'm sure the people just jumped on him because he didn't want to take his hoodie off. Get over here. No, I'm sure he said something. I'm sure when they went over to him, he fucking got physical with them, and then the guy got physical.
I just Googled him. He was a straight A student. He was a straight A student that used to walk elderly people across the street for free. I just Googled him. So we're all wrong about this. This kid was perfect, man. No, this kid was an alternative school, and the kid was an asshole. He was. I don't even know the kid, and I know he was an asshole. I know he's an asshole because you know what? You could tell they're talking to him. They're saying, listen, blah, blah, blah. And he's fighting already. He's still fighting it. You know, like I said, he's probably had 7 or 8 chances in life. And you know what? People are just tired of it. And it's probably a daily occasion where they have to yell at this little fuck, a daily occasion, and they probably get tired of it, you know? And they can't say it was race. And that's what's killing them the most. What's killing them the most, they can't say it's race. The black man on top of them.
Yeah, thank God it wasn't a white guy. That guy, if that was a white guy, he'd already be fired. he'd be, Biden would already be talking about it, trying to investigate what happened. And you know what I mean?
I'll make it real simple. If that was a white guy on top of him, this guy would have a statue of him, and the mother would have $5 million. They'd have a statue next to Floyd. It'd be like a Siamese twin statue of him and Floyd.
Yeah.
If that was a white guy, this guy'd have a picture when he's 5 years old. Trick or treating with a little costume on. That's it. Would happen if it was a white man, but it was a black man. So
yeah, let's see. I'd love to see this kid's record. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would bet dollars to donuts that this kid record is lengthy and has a lot of physical and bad things on his record. I'm sure that he didn't say, "Oh, I don't want to take my hooded down. Sorry." And then he went and beat the shit out of me. I'm sure much more went happened from the time he didn't take his hoodie off.
They're beating the shit out of him, Doug. It doesn't look like it looks like they're just trying to restrain him. I mean, what else do you do if he's acting up? They're not punching him. I don't see punches or kicks. But I mean, at that point, what do you do? Say, "Oh, please, when you're ready, let me know." No, it doesn't work that way. Listen, they tried it in a regular school. He couldn't make it in a regular school. Fuck it. Now you're in a different school. Now you're in a different school where you get treated a little differently. It's your fault. You got that school because of your behavior.
Well, it's amazing what these liberal people in the media do. It's like when the people on the border, right, with the horses, when the Haitian people were walking across the border and they said they were whipping the Haitians because it fit that narrative. Like, oh, there's black people trying to cross it and these white men on horses. We're going to make this like a Civil War fucking or racist thing. No, and then they end up having to eat shit. The fucking government. Right, the Department of Homeland Security had to eat shit because their investigation. They just dropped it. They didn't even remember. We're going to have a big investigation on it. They investigated and they're like, well, they didn't do shit. They were just moving the horses. They were just coaxing the horses around. They weren't hitting anybody with the whips.
And you'll never hear the apology. You'll never hear the second part. We say, you know what? Oops, we made a mistake.
Yeah. Where was Biden? Why didn't Biden come out and say that? Because he fucking said, "Well, this is ridiculous. This is a pot." Why didn't he come out and say, "Oh, it looks like they handled it pretty"? No, he didn't come out and say that. So.
No. Well, we're going to get down to our last story because we're around a half an hour, and we try and get a packed show where everybody can watch it, where it's not too long and doesn't drag out too much. But this was a pretty good story. Listen, man, if you get a government, you're lucky enough to get a government check and you get money from the government, don't be a fucking asshole. Don't be a douchebag and, spend it the way you're supposed to spend it. And, you deserve, if you do something stupid, you deserve to go to jail. And this guy deserves it. Okay. Man got sentenced for 3 years in prison for buying a Pokemon card. First of all, what kind of fucking grown man buys a Pokemon card for $50,000? I mean, you should go to jail just for that. Okay. That should be a crime by itself. Okay. But getting past that, you're taking the relief money that people actually need for food and for clothing and for businesses to make business run, and you're buying a and that just goes to show you how much free money was out there and why people don't want to work and how fucked up the administration is. But here's this guy spent $50,000 on a limited edition Pokemon card. And he got caught because he probably bragged about it. He probably put it on the internet. And eventually you get caught when you're an asshole. And good for him. I'm glad he's doing 3 years. And this is going to be the fun part. When they throw him into a prison, what are you here for? I killed my wife. What are you here for? I robbed the bank. I bought a Pokemon card. Okay, pull your pants down, please. Can you bend over there? We'll get this over real quick. Yeah. Hey, Bob, can you come over here?
I'm about to poke your man now.
Yeah, I'm gonna poke you. I got a poke you. I got a Charizard for you. It's right here. I mean, he better come up with a strong story, bro. Yeah, he's got to come up with something because when you go to jail with general population for a Pokemon card, that's not good, bro.
Yeah, you better come up with a better story. And just in all fairness, a lot of these PPP loans and all this stuff were done in the Trump administration. I know. People talk about that, but look, they were trying to help, and they try to do it quick. And sometimes that's what happens when you try to do things quickly. There's shit that just doesn't go as smooth as you want.
Trump tried to do the right thing for businesses, but there's always loopholes, and people find. You ever see the people that go to the grocery market and they're the coupon people, and they have so many fucking coupons where they get all the groceries free and they get like $30. It's like the same thing. There's always a scam, and people figure the scam out. There's always a scam out there, and people figure it out. And this guy figured it out, and he just bought something stupid, and he got caught. Good for him getting caught. I'm happy, guys.
Yes.
Because there's actually businesses that actually needed it that didn't get it because this asshole bought a Pokemon card. So, fuck him.
A lot of fraud.
So we'll end it on that note, man. We're right at 30 minutes. Beautiful, man. Perfect show. We had it perfect. What do you got going on, Doug? Talk to me.
This weekend, I got 2 nights in Panama City. I'm going to be out there. So go to my Facebook page. I got to give you the names of stuff, but Going to be in Panama City on Friday and on Saturday this week. And then I'm coming back to Florida the week after and going to be doing Tavolino's. It's a sold-out show. Wednesday, March 23rd, myself hosting. Bear Webb, very funny headliner in her own right, of course. Local Coral Springs comic, very funny. And Steve Marshall, one of Tavolino's favorites. So it's too late, but we'll have another show coming in May at Tavolino's, and stay tuned for all that.
Nice, man. Nice. Me, I'm doing what I always do, man. I got my shop here, 418 North Federal Highway in Pompano Beach. You got some inventory, whether it be Rolexes, gold, silver, baseball cards, comic books, or that Pokemon card that when he went to jail, maybe somebody bought it. I will buy that Pokemon card. You know, I'll make a profit off this guy's misery. But just bring it in. I'll tell you what things are worth. And peace out, everybody. Do the right thing, man. Enjoy life and pray for Ukraine, man. Peace.
Take care.